And now we're going to go live. All right, so we are live here with Garrett Schull, and this
Uh,
is this is number 8 of the Clint Files podcast, where we try to focus more on fixing ourselves instead of partying and messing ourselves up. Isn't that right, Garrett?
yeah, that's a good one actually. Yeah. It's a long road, man, but it's worth the walk. So
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm
and
glad to be here, man. I'm honored that you asked me to come on here today. So I'm pretty stoked. But yeah.
well, I've seen recently. So we'll get the backstory. I know Garrett from doing freestyle years, like when I very first started. Um, Garrett lived down in Florida, so obviously being in New Jersey, that's where everybody went in the winter to ride. Uh, so I remember the first time I met Garrett was in DeLand. We were getting
Oh,
ready for that the Daytona show in DeLand, and Garrett literally walked around all day with like one of those ginormous bags of Cheetos, and that's all he ate all day was Cheetos. We just rode, and he ate Cheetos all day. That was what he did.
gosh, you remember that shit?
I just remember thinking, this kid just literally ate Cheetos all day. It's the only thing he's had all day.
Yeah, that was the diet of the jumpers. Dude. That was in Red Bull. But so what's up?
Not much, man. Just you know, I don't know what the hell. I'm just figuring out what I'm doing after riding, which I guess you also now are figuring that out. So how long did you actually ride shows for?
Oh God, dude. My dad bought me a dirt bike when I was like 13, and he had like these big hopes for me to be a baseball pitcher. I was really good at pitching, in baseball, and I was like my whole upbringing with him. He played in the NBA, and it was like really big shoes to fill. But he got me the dirt bike at 13, and I fell in love with the Iron Horse, dude, and I just took off with that, and probably since like I think my first show, dude, was at the county fairgrounds with Rudy Waller and Mike Finnegan. Actually, dude, we swindled the owner of the fairgrounds into letting us do this motocross show. He had no idea what the fuck we were gonna do. We told him we needed dirt and all this stuff. I ended up stealing like a front end loader from like a construction site, down the street to build the dirt bike landing. Ended up breaking a sprinkler pipe at the county fairs and causing a huge flood there. I mean, it was such a scene, dude. But like, we were so to do it. So like, I pull in on a front end loader wearing like a yellow vest, like I was a construction worker.
Was the vest in the loader already, or?
Yeah, dude. No, it was a Sunday, so like I pulled in the fair with this big ass front end loader. I had people following me in my truck behind me with hazards on, like we were legit, and built this huge landing.
Where'd
Broke
you
some
get the
spring.
dirt? You just built a hole, dug a hole?
I dug a hole, dude, and that's how I spent. I broke the sprinkler pipe at the fairgrounds. It caused the flood there, but we got it done, and dude, it like we were so determined to jump this ramp I had built. I eyeballed this metal ramp, and I built it with this dude Chris Harvey with Harvey's Groves back in Florida, which is like a orange grove place, and we welded it together, and we didn't even know if it would hold us. But it turned out really good, man. Like it was me, Mike Finnegan, Rudy Waller from Panama. He had just moved here to try to race, on circuit, and ended up doing the jumping with me. And we just really clicked off, man. We were wearing like surf baggies and knee braces, and like we were just all over the place, dude, crashing everywhere. But we had like everybody watching, and it was just a good event, man. And the owner asked us to come back the next year, so it kind of evolved from that. And but
So you didn't get caught stealing the or borrowing the loader?
yeah, No, I borrowed it. I drove it back later that night and parked it. I'm sure that needs some gas was missing out of it, but they were, I don't think I never got word from it. I was like 16 years old, 17, but I had been watching videos and stuff, and all I wanted to do was ride that bike, man. It was just like freedom for me. So
Well, I think that that's the thing people don't understand if you never did it. That just
uh,
how riding makes you feel, and you know, I think that what we're gonna get into. But I've always seen a parallel between people that will risk their lives jumping a motorcycle, and then when inevitably some guys end up getting caught up in drugs or something, people are like shocked. And I'm like, these are people that are chasing like some kind of feeling a lot of the time.
that's a that's a I don't even know how to explain that one really. It's just something that when like me or you were doing or anybody else jumping, it doesn't really seem like it's that extreme, man. It just comes kind of natural, and you
Well, it's
just kind of
increments. None of
yeah,
us
and
none of us
kind of
jump ramps first day.
yeah, no, fuck, I'll never forget the first time I hit a ramp, but no, it's that rush, dude. You just kind of gotta that I had to have in my life, and just nothing else was really doing it for me. So I just fell in love with bikes, man. It led to a whole nother realm of the world and traveling the world, which was awesome. But at the same time, I had like a lot of my own issues going on, and then my father passing and stuff. So like the drugs came into play like big time, and that's where like the whole down spiral of this whole thing went. And I kind of fucking blew it honestly with riding. I think the last time we rode together was that show in Georgia. Remember when I had the dudes from Elevated Tactics there, and they were staying with me in Florida. But like, yeah, man, I was like starting to get high and shit before I rode, and it was just really stupid of me because I never drank or got high. Like I took riding real serious and like not party and stuff, but I never took it. You know what I mean? You just don't ride your bike high doing stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
was doing and that was the last time I seen you actually. But
Was that at a speedway and
oh, I was out in the woods, and we did that show in like Georgia, and
was that wakeboarder there?
I had Craig. Remember Craig and Mark Phillips? Craig and
Yeah.
Mark Phillips.
Yeah. I have the
Not
worst
Mark,
memory, Garrett.
yeah, they rode with me. Yeah, dude. And I remember I seen him time in a while, dude. I was like, man, I wonder if these guys are gonna know I'm fucked up. And I didn't. I was like popping my pills and stuff. I had my little prescription because back then Florida was like going off with the whole Roxy's and the pills and the blues, and I got real caught up in that shit, and
Do you
it
think it
was,
stemmed from an injury?
dude. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. Like my father passed away when I wasn't doing very good, and like I kind of, it was really fucking hard for me. Like I was really close to my dad, and I started popping painkillers. Yeah, related to injuries for sure, because I wouldn't even have known about them. It wasn't for half the surgeries and shit I
Show
had.
everybody your arm. So very early on in freestyle motocross, one of the very first famous clips of somebody crashing that made it to MTV and stuff is Garrett. Nobody knows that. He cases some metal landing and
They
just
came they came to my house, dude, when I was in an apartment to do an interview when I was totally shot out of my mind, and did a little interview or whatever. But it was not a good experience, man, and that was a
well,
rough time,
it
man.
was
Like
not. So he cases the thing perfectly, frame cases it, and then at the top of it like a 12-foot tall landing and goes all the way to the bottom, like nose down, and just puts his arms out and just shatters
that,
his one
that was
arm.
back when Dean Lavelle was the fucking engineer for the dirt bike landing. So pay him to rent his landing ramps, which were not even like close to the design nowadays. They were just like these huge towers that you had to make it over the top, and it was straight down, no rounded tops, nothing. And the takeoff ramp broke because you can't really see it in the video, but like one of the struts, the crossbars snapped, and it just gave me a little bump, to lose speed, and I came up like 2 feet short, and it just popped me forward, and it just, yeah, it sucked, man. That was horrible.
Well, let's see your arm. Is it still all gnarly, or did the muscle come back?
I don't know if you can see it. It's like it's a
So if you're just on audio, he has like right in the front of his wrist, there's like no meat there anymore, and it's just like the tendons and his muscle, and he can stick his finger like in back behind the bones. But this is, if you remember, like way back, one of the very first internet. There you go. One of the very first like internet, clips of somebody crashing a dirt bike was this dude on that setup.
it
So
wasn't even like a good crash either. It was like the fucking ramp broke, dude.
yo,
It
it was
wasn't.
ugly. It was an ugly crash.
Yes, I got lucky though. It could have been worse because I watched the video and it looks like my feet just like touched my head. It looks like I broke my back, but you know,
It's just because you're so long.
yeah.
uh, so after that all happened, then you got into doing drugs, and obviously I haven't even heard of you riding at all, like in a long time. So you got out of riding for a while, and where did you like? What did
I
you do
fell
then?
off, man. I started running on like doing the street life shit, and I got in a little bit of trouble and probation, so they wouldn't let me leave because I was on probation, and they didn't really understand that my job was motocross. So that was like really fucking hard for me to deal with because I would like bring pictures and invitations and stuff to my probation officer and tell them like, look, this is what I do, and they weren't having it, man. Society wants that fucking 9 to 5 bullshit. So I started just really getting fucked up. That was when my dad passed. I woke up one morning and I watched him literally like pass away in front of my face, and I just I was 21 years old actually. I'll never forget that day, and he and I had been fucking up already, so that was really hard to deal with, like never making my father proud. So I kind of threw away that whole motocross shit, started hanging around with the wrong crowd, and just really getting fucked up and just high as fuck, drinking a lot, running the street. My mom has always like had my back, and she kind of even like just let me do my own thing. And I had to just kind of learn it on my own, dude. And like I did a lot of shit and ended up turning into, like banging heroin. And I was still trying to ride a little bit. And I'd be like, oh, I'll get clean, when I get probation's over and I'll start jumping again. I'll make money. And just it compiled more and more and more. And then I ended up getting in a fight with some guy, and I just took all my anger out on him. So they gave me like an attempted murder charge, and I had two punishable by life sentences. So I had thought, after all the points I had racked up in the system, like my lawyer that my father built a house for, because he became a home builder after he retired from the NBA. He Even that lawyer was a friend of the family, and he was like, I can't get your son off. Like he's gonna do some time. Like anything under 15 years would be a blessing. So I turned myself in, and I really didn't know what to expect, man. I was like thinking in my head like what to do when I get out at 50 years old, 60 years old. A lot of people I know that I'm friends with right now, dude, can relate to that shit. And I started just kind of mentally preparing myself. And then he had come in one day and visited me, and he said, I'll never forget his words. He's like, the heavens doors have opened for you. And I was thinking, like, what, 10 years, 12 years? And he said, no, I got you 4 years. And at the time I was like, shit, you know, whatever. I'm still going up the road, but it was such a blessing, man. Like I had went to prison, you know, and they sent me to a violent camp because everybody, because I had violent charges, so I was considered a violent person, and they put me in there like everybody, dude. Everybody in there was in the gang, and you know, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with people. I don't judge nobody or anything like that. But it was like, what the fuck am I gonna do here for 4 years? You know, I'm not involved in this. Like, I drew a piece of, I took a piece of cardboard off a ramen noodle soup box, dude, and I drew a piano, and I started like getting into like the Bible a little bit, and like I'd be the last person to admit that, but like I started reading it, you know, and started just working on myself, and I would play this cardboard piano because I would I got these music theory books in the mail, and I taught myself like music theory, but there's no sound on this thing, and everybody would fuck with me, you know, for like 3 years. Like, you know, they called me dirt bike in there. They're like, dirt bike, turn that shit down. You're driving us crazy. Like, you know, just stupid shit. But I knew one day I would get to play a real piano and like it would sound good. So the last year I was locked up, I ended up getting transferred to a camp that had like a church with a prison piano, and I went in there and I was just like so stoked to just play this thing, dude, because I had been just touching a piece of cardboard for so long, and it like sounded pretty good. So I kind of went on this path of like this piano player thing, and you know, it still ain't working out, but it's, you know what I'm saying? I did my time like that, and I fucking learned something out of being in there, and it was, you know, it got me by because it wasn't easy, and you know, I still play now, but I love the piano. It's like my lifesaver. But
That's interesting that you picked up. What had you ever had any
no, no.
like you never dealt with the piano before at all? You just
My
decided.
mom had like this super nice grand piano in the house, and I had always just like messed around when I was drinking or half, you know, baked or drunk or whatever. I'd put like the liquor bottle on the piano and start playing, and I didn't know anything about it, but like, you know, I just learned. I learned it, man, and it was what got me through. Really, it's kind of ironic, really, but I had gotten out, and I had this huge path, you know, that I was gonna stay straight, do good, and I was doing good for about like 2 weeks, and as soon as I got back around the same people, you know, they're just like, let's get fucked up. It was like my dope dealer that sold me the heroin was like kind of a good friend of me actually. So I guess he's not really a good friend, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
we were cool with each other. He would like cut me off sometimes, but I went straight back to him, dude, because I didn't know where else to go at the time, and went on another fucking bender for like a while, and every day it was the same routine: driving over the bridge in Florida to get the dope, you know, get high, go work my ass off all day, and I would make a lot of money too. Like I would really hustle money up working back in Florida, my own ways. I was off probation, off everything, and then it just I fucked over a lot of people, man, and it just like I never had like I'm not really that type of person, man, but like the drugs will fucking do that shit to you. Like you'll do some shit that you like I'm still having trouble with letting go, but
What that you did to.
oh, dude, yeah, like fucked up shit. Kicking in doors, fucking your best friends over. It's just a lot of shit, man. And that was really hard to come to terms with. So I just kept getting high, kept using. I really didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do in life. Um, and then, like honestly, dude, I miss riding so much. Like that's all I could think about because that was like always my outlet in life. To where it just like it hit me like a ton of bricks one day. Like you're getting old, dude. Why are you still doing this? Like, and I just came to the point like at any and all costs, dude. You're done with it. You're gonna quit, and it was like it clicked overnight. So I went and checked in a rehab down in Miami, and it was fucking sweet. You know, I went to the ER a couple times because I'd been so messed up for so long that it wasn't that easy to quit. But I didn't want anything. I didn't take nothing. I just dealt with it, and I got out, and I already knew what the fuck was gonna happen if I went back to back home to Melbourne. So I called my mom up that day, and I was, she's heard it 1,000 times before, and I was just like, look, I need to get the fuck out of here. I don't have nothing. I don't know what to do, and I packed up what little I had left, and I drove straight to California. And like, I think I got to like Texas, man, and I was still feeling like real shaky and shit. I got to Texas, and like I broke down, dude. I was like at a gas station looking up, like in the middle of nowhere, and I'd been sleeping in my truck a bunch, and whatever, just to make it over the border. 'Cause I had a friend in California that had changed his life and has been doing pretty good. So I kind of like went off his lead and with a new job, and I was like, well, fuck it, what do I got to lose? So when I got to Texas, I like broke down in this fucking area out in the middle of the field, and it was just like this huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, man. And I just knew like no matter what the fuck was gonna happen, like it didn't matter at this point because I was so over the past, And I ended up making it out here, and you know it's been going good, dude. I can't complain. Like I'm not riding or nothing, especially being out in California and like growing up watching motocross videos my whole life. Crusty Demons of Dirt, all the the bigger guys, Seth Enslow, like everybody in the militia and stuff. Always growing up, looking forward, seeing all these badass spots to ride, and now it's like I'm out here around these spots and I can't even ride them. But I just kind of put my head down, and I know shit will happen. Like you know, I know it'll all work out.
So
So
what kept
what?
you? I don't know why I
I don't
got
know
all
why.
loud. Um, once you decided you weren't gonna, use drugs anymore or whatever, and you were dealing with the, with the withdrawals, how did you were just over? I mean, that's the thing is people always try to help people, and it really is that.
You gotta understand in recovery, man, and when you're fucked up like that, people can help, man, and they can say and they can give you motivation, but nothing's gonna happen, dude, until you decide to do that and make it, or you've had enough. Like for me, at least, like, and you just know, dude. Like when you got to do it. And for me, I would hear all sorts of motivational shit. And you need to quit. I've heard everything, dude. And it's like it didn't matter. But one day it clicked in my head, and I was just like, "Fuck this! Like, what am I doing, dude?" Because I've always been like, I'm not trying to like brag, but like I've always been really good at everything I try to do, like whether it's painting or fucking, mixed martial arts or drawing or motocross, skateboarding. Like I've always picked shit up real quick, and like I just didn't know what to do with any of this. Like, music is a big thing for me, and but you should it's at your own time, dude. You can't like force someone to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
never.
I had a friend that you might have known him, Winstead.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's
man, that whole deal, it's the same thing. He got into some stuff, and then I
how's he doing?
he passed away. He overdosed years ago, like 10 years ago now.
Jeff Winstead.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
And I
know
was
that.
around him a ton. He was like my, you know, one of my real good friends. And man, I'd always tried to talk to him, but really all it ever did was drive like a wedge between us.
We jumped together at the Cabbage Patch in Daytona.
Oh yeah.
Jump over that fucking stupid, stinky stuff in a pit, and they set the ramps up and like that bar, during
Yeah, and you
Daytona.
jump over that bar. It was a
Yeah,
titty bar, and you had to
yeah.
jump over the corner of the building. I never went there, but I heard about it.
No, we jumped over the pit that day where they had like raw cabbage, dude, and like chicks wrestling in it. It was so stinky all day because the sun.
Ah,
But like Jeff was there, man, and we really hit it off, and I really liked that dude. I didn't even know. That's some shit, man. I didn't even know that dude. Like
yeah.
that's
And he turned into not even the same person
I
eventually.
don't know. He
You
had
know.
kids too, didn't he?
Yeah, he has well, I think he has
A
I
daughter.
yeah, he has one daughter that's older um now like 18 or something, but then he actually got was his girl got his girlfriend pregnant right before he passed away. So that I don't know if it was a son or a boy or a daughter, but yeah, that kid's never even seen Jeff. But that whole deal, like we were talking about, trying to help, and there's not really anything you can do. You got to wait it out until they reach that point, and unfortunately, a lot of people don't make it there.
That's kind of shitty news, man. I'm not trying to bring a negative vibe, but damn, I didn't even know that. Like, no one even told me. But I like that dude a lot, man. He was cool. That was back when I was jumping, doing the Kenny Yoho tours.
Experience.
Yeah, the Kenny Yoho experience. Good old Yoho.
I had him on here, and actually I've talked to him about going down and doing some working with him at some of his races.
Really, I got a lot of good stories with Kenny Yoho. I like that dude a lot, man. He's one of like he's an OG to me for real in the
Yeah.
motocross world, man.
Well, no, he
But
was badass. He raced. He was a good racer. You know,
uh,
he come out in the beginning in freestyle. Let me tell
yeah,
you, nobody can rile up a crowd of rednecks better than Kenny Yoho.
Kenny had like a lot of raw talent too, man. He could hop on anything and like just ride out. He was he was a shit.
So now let's talk about like now that you're at the point that you're at now. What do you focus on, and what do you do day to day to replace that?
Well, that's a good one. I do fucking everything, dude. Like when I got clean, like and I got out here, it's such an emotional roller coaster, dude. And, like I've never been the type of person to like really get in my feelings. I am and I'm not. Like I really care about certain things, dude, and I would get my shirt off the back or even die for the cause. But like I started getting really in my emotions, dude, and like I didn't really understand it or why this was happening out here, and I didn't know if it's because I just had no one to talk to or no one to hang out with. So I got a job in recovery out here, believe it or not, like working with other addicts, and I like the job like a lot. It's obviously not for the money because it's not shit pay, but it it helped me at the same time, keep what I was doing. And, I had like broke up with my girlfriend back in Florida that we were really serious. And like, I had actually called her one day and said, look, man, I had lied to her like the whole time we were together. I was like, look, I've been fucked up the whole time we were together. Like, you know, so that was kind of hard to deal with because I felt really bad, but, just, I didn't want any more like, not baggage, but like any more like I didn't want to let anyone else down. You know what I'm saying? At that point in my life, like I just needed to find out what the fuck I was doing, and that's been harder than anything, honestly, dude. That's been harder than even like coming off the drugs, harder than get clean, harder than dealing with living on the street or whatever I'd been through, dude, or prison time. Like that has been the hardest thing, and like I ended up meeting someone out here, and I really got into her, and I liked her, dude. We related a lot, and like I took it too far, and I fucking overloaded her with shit, you know. And I realize it now, and I wish I could take it back, but it is what it is, and I'm just moving forward. But I do everything from like, dude, I've been jumping off cliffs. I've been doing a lot of MMA, like mixed martial arts stuff at the gym here. They got UFC gyms everywhere around here. I've been skateboarding a lot. I've been writing a shit ton of music, playing the piano. I mean, it doesn't even matter what it is, dude. As long as it's not getting high, like whatever. As long as it occupies my time and gets me out of my head, like that's all that matters. And like once I became like aware of that, because being aware of what you're thinking is like the fucking key to this whole recovery thing. Because your thoughts, dude, especially with idle time, will just build you up to the point where, like, for me at least, to the point where you just want to like blow your head off or do some dumb shit or say some shit or whatever, go get high or do whatever. And like dope is huge out here, Like I came out here and it's everywhere. Like everybody's on it. The whole rehab thing is a hustle. It's bigger than it was back home. So I didn't even like really even try to get involved in any of that, dude. I just kind of been putting my head down, and I'm still dealing with it. Like I'm not gonna lie, like it's a bitch, man. Like, but I just try to be grateful for what I do have right now, dude. Like I'm healthy. You know, I made it. I've had some ODs and stuff like that. I'm still here. I'm still trying to figure out the real reason, like why I'm here, but I know it all come to play. I just got a new really fucking sweet job out here. I've been working really hard towards. My roommate actually woke me up one morning and told me to throw my clothes on. This was like at a breaking point. He's like, throw your clothes on, dude, and come meet this person. And I went out to this restaurant at midnight, and it was like the owner of a huge tour bus company that drives around like Kendrick Lamar and Post Malone and like everybody who's anybody in the music industry. Like this tour bus company takes them around, and I had gotten a commercial driving license back in Florida to be a truck driver, but I never even wanted to be a truck driver. I don't even know why I got it, but I stepped out the box and did it. And now it's coming into play because you got to have that to drive these tour buses. So I've been, dealing with the test at DMV for passenger endorsements and stuff like that. But like in the next couple of weeks, like I should be taking off of that. And it kind of worried me a little bit because I know a lot of people, they're be partying on the bus, and I know how that whole traveling thing goes. And like, I was like, well, damn, am I gonna get wrapped up in all that again? But honestly, like, probably not, dude. I'm pretty dedicated to what I'm doing right now, and other people, like, I just don't want other people to go through the shit that I had to go through, man. And it's like, whatever it takes, bro. Like my 12 steps is definitely not like the normal 12 steps, man, but it's like, I'm not saying that's bad. Don't take it the wrong way. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, man, as long as you just stay clean. Like, whatever the fuck it is, you got to do it, stick to it, and occupy your mind. So, I'm just charging that right now.
I know that when we spoke on the phone earlier, you said that you really focus on uh, eating right and being active and working out and stuff as far as um, something to make you feel good and not feel like you want to do anything else and just to get your mind off it. And even with the riding, I always hated being called an adrenaline junkie. And I actually heard Rogan explain it one day that, or maybe it was somebody on there that, no, it wasn't. It was an On It podcast. But they were saying that a lot of those people, extreme sports athletes, aren't necessarily adrenaline junkies. They're more like flow junkies, and that's basically, about flow and meditating and all that.
Oh, dude, it's more of like the way I look at it. It's not yeah, the adrenaline's great, but it's the fucking rhythm that I think extreme athletes got to have in their life, man. If they're not on that rhythm, like when they're riding or the best part of riding, dude, is when you're in that groove, when you're in that rhythm where you're timing every landing, you're timing every jump, and you're just flowing.
And you're
Like
not
that's
thinking about it directly, it's just happening.
you're not thinking about it exactly, and it just happens. That to me is like total bliss as far. But in life, we don't have that because shit's so fucked up out here and all this crazy stuff. I'm not gonna even get into that going on, but like not having it out here, man, is hard, and that's a good way to put it. Actually, I like that.
I like that a lot too. I was like, because I always hate,
I hate
you're in
that
a,
term adrenaline junkie, dude.
yeah, I don't think that I am because I hate being scared. like my thing is once I already jump the jump and I'm in the air and I know I'm landing it, and then I get that happy feeling and I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is
exactly.
awesome. And then I like to jump it again. But I hate jumping stuff the first time. I hate it.
What you're saying, dude. I'd always be the dumbass to hit the ramp first.
Yeah, yo, if, I'm always like, somebody want, yeah, you want to jump it? Cool, get it. And then I'll follow you.
Let me put next to you and get your speed right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good one.
Well,
But
is there anything else you think you wanna, address or say?
I mean, I just really, I just like hope and pray, man. Like people can find their rhythm. You know what I'm saying? Their groove and their flow because I haven't found mine, but I'm not gonna give up till I do. You know, I just don't. A lot of people give up real early, man, and they don't even know like what their true talents are, or something they might be good at that they don't even know about because they haven't tried it. So
Or that society has told them that they need to go down this path, and
got everybody glued to their screens and thinking they gotta conform a certain way, man. But really, it's when at the end of the day, bro, society's not gonna be there to have your back, bro. It's you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have your own back and look out for you. And like I came to realize that because I try to fit in and be the whole society thing, but like kind of. But
I
there's a
could
more.
tell with all your tattoos.
No, yeah, yeah, but that's it, man. I just want everybody to find themselves, dude, and do what's right and just do what's for them, man. Like that's all that really matters at the end of the day and at the end of the life. Like, you know what I mean? As long as you found what you're looking for or you found peace, that's all that really matters.
Well,
I
I
mean,
think it's amplified now, the fact, especially with social media, where every dumbass has got something to say about anything you post. You know what I mean? I've been worried about posting. I was even today, when we were going to do this, even though it's the Clint files, I was going to run it on the Two Wheels to Freedom page because, like, it's hard to put yourself out there like that. And sometimes you don't want to deal with people
yeah,
just talking shit back to you for no reason.
society's got this big face built up like they're gonna criticize you for anything you're doing, bro. But in all reality, capitalize on whatever it is you fucking have. It doesn't even matter what it is, as long as it's not bad. Well, not I can't even say that because they do that now too. But capitalize on whatever you have, dude, and like you're gonna get followers. That's just how the world is working now, and capitalize on it because for you, not for what other people think, man. Like I got caught up in that real bad. Like I used to worry all the time what people thought about me, and like I like went through phases with that shit. Like I wouldn't give a fuck, and then I would give a fuck, and it's just, like I still deal with it now, but like that doesn't bring you peace, dude. Like doesn't bring you happiness. Like you're not gonna be happy in life, dude, until you find out who you really are. You know, and I'm not there yet, but I will find it, and I'm learning every day. So
Dude, and then that's not even necessarily a addiction thing, because I'm transitioning out of riding, and I'm just as lost as you. I'm like, what in the hell am I doing?
yeah, man, I was stoked when you hit me up today and asked me to do this because it was like perfect timing. Like, sometimes I say a little too much, but whatever. I don't care. If it helps one person out there, dude, that's all that matters. So
Well,
it's
again,
really
and
all.
here's what's the issue with saying too much is that somebody's gonna talk some shit on the internet. Like they're gonna do that anyway.
Exactly, bro. No matter what you're doing, so that's just how the world is nowadays. So I'm stoked though.
Yeah, well, let's keep in touch. We can do another one of these, or even I got another podcast to do, which I'm the only one that's done it. Just one of my stories, but it's called Crazy Action Sports Stories.
All right.
And I told about going to Peru and them like the none of the show was set up, and then they tried to extort us for 20 grand, and then we had to flee the country and stuff. And I know
Uh,
you've been to some sketchy South America stuff, so maybe you
I heard
could.
about all that, man, with you. Like, I didn't know the whole story about it, but I did hear about that.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
no,
with, was that with Yoho?
no, that was with Travis.
Oh, Travis.
Yeah, I kept telling him, I'm like, this doesn't sound like a good deal, dude. Let's not do it. And he's like, nah, it'll be all right.
Yeah, he does that sniff thing, dude. like, like he's always fucked up. It's like, dude, you got allergies, bro. Like, I keep sniffing, man.
It's his mouth. I think he breathes in with his mouth.
I think his nose and his mouth connects in the middle. Like,
Maybe he was a kickboxer when he was young. Maybe he got his nose broke.
oh man, that was a good one.
All right. Well, everybody go follow Garrett. I'm sure he's linked in this, and he has been posting a lot of good stuff. So, especially if you're dealing with any of the things that we were talking about, then for sure give him a follow. And, everybody, we got to stop, talking shit to each other. And it's funny because everybody's about, we want to save the refugees from wherever, and then we're shitty to our neighbors or shitty to the people that we know. It's like,
Dude, the morals and society, bro. Like the real true morals, dude, are out the window these days. Like everyone's so worried about everybody's rights and stuff like that, man. But it really just matters what the fuck you say to your neighbor, dude. It doesn't matter who they are, how you act towards them, how you smile, or like that shit goes so far in the world today, and everyone just doesn't take the time to do it, and it's sad, but
yeah. I mean, that's everybody's posting stuff on their Facebook and this and that when there's a shooting and blah blah blah, and then they're shitty to people that they actually deal with face to face, and it's like that's where it starts. It's all of this stuff starts with your actual physical interactions with people, and everybody's worried about themselves, and I need to like traffic. I need to get in front of you. Like I need that one more spot. I need to get
dude,
in front of that one extra car.
especially out here, bro. I didn't even know like traffic. I thought Orlando and Florida was bad, dude. But when I moved out here, like the 405 or
Oh,
going to work in the morning, like holy shit, man.
that's
It's
how it
like
is here too. Because like if you're going on any of the major interstates or anything towards the city, because
yeah,
I'm like 45 miles from or 30 something miles from New York City. It's like down
yeah,
south traffic like backs up a teeny bit, it bunches up, and then it goes, and then it bunches up, and here it's just like you just sit there for an hour
yeah.
and a half.
It's probably about the same out there as it is here. I'm not used to it, but
It sucks.
you kind of got to chill through it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
And,
good lesson for you.
jam some Yellow Wolf or some Koichi or some Revolution. Put the reggae vibe on, whatever.
There you go.
Get through it.
All right, man. It was good talking to you.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate you having me on, man.
No worries, and let's like I said, let's do it again sometime. You can fill us in on your job. You know who Miles Richmond is?
Yeah, dude. He works for the same
I
company.
was just gonna ask you that.
Yeah, his name got brought up, and that was what was the crazy thing about it. Is when I met the owner, he was like, "Oh, you used to do freestyle motocross." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You know Miles Richmond?" I was like, "What?" Miles Richmond. I was like, "Dude, he's like one of the OGs of this shit
Yeah.
back in the day, and I guess he got hurt. I don't know. I heard he hurt his leg or something, but he
Yeah, he
drives
was doing
now.
step up at X Games and ended
Uh,
up looping out, bailing off his bike, and like crushing his foot or ankle. So now his foot does. It's like I think they fused it, his ankle or something. So, and it's
uh,
numb. So I had him on the other podcast. Um,
right.
and that's actually one of the most watched podcasts period that I have because he just kind of
Yeah,
disappeared. So like I guess everybody come out to watch that one.
yeah. He's dude. He works where I'm getting a job actually, and
I was going as soon as you were posting truck those vans or the buses because
yeah, I went to a warehouse out there the other day, and I seen a flat black bus, and I was like, yeah, I think it's pretty sweet, dude. I'm gonna put that online. And I actually had some people writing me like, hey, why haven't you been posting anything? 'Cause, I've had my own little issues going on, but they're like, post some shit. So I put that up there. So hopefully it works out. I went to the DMV this morning and waited for like 3 hours in this huge line, and they gave me like a 2-inch thick book. I gotta go study for just something I thought I was gonna take today, but it's all good. We'll get through it. A
yeah.
couple more days.
Well, that'll be
I'll
sick
probably see
traveling
him.
though, especially in a nice ass bus. He says he also gets
Yeah,
rooms everywhere, so
yeah. They include all that. It's a really good job, man. I can't complain. I'm stoked. Thank God.
yeah. Sweet. Well, congratulations. And let's keep in touch. We got each other's numbers now too, so
Oh yeah, it was good talking to you again, man.
yeah, you too. Take it easy.
All right,
All right.
turn it off.
There you go. Just hang up.
I'll see you, man.
Later. All right. Well, there you go. It's just me. I hope you guys enjoyed that, got something out of that. Garrett's a good dude, just like everybody. You can get hung up, but stay with it. And like always, this podcast brought to you by Emotocons, motocross emojis for your iPhone. Stroker Industries. Stroker Industries makes the Trigger, which is a push button nozzle for your race jug. They also have Spit Shine, which is a silicone spray to protect your bike or spray up under the fenders so that mud flies off, and fog out for the inside of your goggles. So, I don't know what's going on my computer here. All right, I'm out. Maybe it'll stop.